Okay, so we are on chapter 12, section 5. It's called the Sane Curriculum. The sane, not the insane. Last week we went through seeking and finding. And we talked a little bit also about embodying the work, right? When we're learning, like what's the purpose of learning and what are we learning? Who are we learning from? Hold on, just letting some people in. And so last week we explored seeking and finding how the ego keeps us trapped in an endless search for love, for peace, for happiness. Constantly we're looking in places where those things can't actually be found. And what I'm talking about is not like the temporary satisfactions, right? The ego keeps us in that because it says, hey, look, you can have a little bit of fun now, but at what cost? Right? What we're really looking for is that stable, consistent peace of mind. So the ego's game, the ego's game is always to have us seek but never find. And the ego convinces us that salvation is somewhere out there. It's always just out of reach, right? And we're always right there. We almost have it. We can feel it. We can feel the tipping point. We can feel like we're almost there. And it seems like it's always just a little bit out of reach. Excuse me. So what happens when we stop playing that game? Right? What happens when we realize that what we've been searching for is what the Course is always reminding us that has never been missing? So in today's section of the Sane Curriculum, it's teaching us that first we recognize that when we're seeking externally or something that is outside, it is just a dead end. When we're seeking like that, it's always a dead end. And this week or this section today is about learning, is about what real learning looks like. The ego's curriculum is always of confusion, of separation, coming from fear, and we're always striving for something. But the Holy Spirit offers us a different kind, which is really simple. One that is peaceful and certain and not contradicting at all, right? So the core message of the Sane Curriculum as we go into today is that everything we know, okay, everything that you have taught yourself. So whatever we've learned about anything, we've taught ourselves. But the question always comes down to who was our teacher? Right? The ego teaches through fear. So we can look in our lives where we are trying to learn from fear and from guilt, shame, right? So it teaches us that we are somehow always separate and that we are somehow lacking. Are we learning through lack? Okay, are we learning from somehow we must always struggle to prove ourselves and we're looking for significance that is outside? And it teaches us conflict, contradictions, and sorry, okay. And it teaches us instability, is what the Course says. The ego is always unstable. And so one day we'll feel at peace, the next we're thrown back into doubt and uncertainty. But the Holy Spirit teaches something that is very different. The Holy Spirit's curriculum is not insane. It is not unstable. It is clear. It's based on one single idea only, that only love is real. Only love is real. So that's it. There's no contradiction to it. No confusion. No shifting truths. The ego offers like 1,000 different lessons in fear, but the Holy Spirit only offers one lesson in love. Love is all there is, and you are a part of it. Now, we've been talking a lot about learning and moving from learning to mastery. But What's the point? What's the purpose of learning? And there's a line in the course that we'll see maybe today. Yeah, let me say one section. Yeah, it says that learning is useless to the separated. So if your mind is separated or split or in duality, learning is useless. Learning is only useful to remedy the separation. So learning is only useful to create oneness, to create unity. Okay? That means our real purpose, the only real purpose of learning, is to unlearn the belief that we are somehow separate from God or from love. Everything else is a distraction. So think about what we're distracted by every day. You know, I look, you don't have to look any further than posts on social media, right? I mean, with the recent conversation between the president of Ukraine and our president, I mean, the division is insane. The division that is created is insane. And so here, and what I was thinking, it's so funny because as I was reading and just watching both sides, and I look at it not from judgment at all. I look at it just from like, okay, well, that's interesting. It's teaching me what A Course in Miracles has been telling me all along. That if you have love in your heart, if you like somebody, right, people that stand that are like, yes, I voted for Trump, no matter what he does, it will always be good for the country. It will always be good for us, and just we can't see any bad in it, right? And then those that didn't will only ever see that. See, this is what we were talking about last week about seeking and finding is you are always looking for what you already believe. You're only looking for evidence of that. And when you're only looking for evidence of that, when you end up distressed or when you end up angry or in an argument with somebody, you need to look no further than what you are actually seeking in the first place. What you seek, you will find. So how do we shift from the insane curriculum to the sane curriculum? Okay, the like I said before, the ego's curriculum is based on instability and fear, and the Holy Spirit's curriculum is based on peace and certainty and stability. And the shift is really simple. The shift is we must choose which teacher to listen to. And the Course also says, we will read it today too, that you who are steadfastly devoted to misery must first recognize that you are miserable and not happy, right? So the awareness, we talk about awareness, and it is really the only thing that we ever need to have is awareness. We never have to really do anything. So, yeah, it's kind of harsh, I feel like, from the Course to just say that. But when you recognize it, it's not really, when you really hear it, it's not to be harsh or to attack. It's actually a freeing one. When you see it, then you realize that you don't really value it. And you don't really value the teacher who taught that to you, right? So we have to first admit that what we've been taught by the ego does not work. And so if we're still lost, if we're still suffering, we're still struggling, and we still have fear in our everyday, it's not because the truth is missing or love is missing, it's because we've been listening to the wrong teacher. So as we go through the call here today, we just have to make different choices. Like, can I stop? Am I still learning from pain? Can I not learn from pain, but learn from peace and love instead? Where am I still seeking and searching constantly instead of just accepting and remembering? Where do I try to fix things instead of just letting go and letting God? Right? So this sane curriculum today is about choosing a new way of learning. One that will take us out of confusion, one that will take us out of fear and bring us peace and love and certainty instead. So, I've been really playing with the idea of learning. I used to just think, okay, well, the fastest way to learn is to teach. So this is why I started this A Course in Miracles call. But I realized that, you know, it's not enough just to learn it. Because like the Course says that the only purpose for learning is to remember love. The only purpose for learning is to undo any uncertainty and to undo separation. So the only purpose of learning is the atonement. And the only thing that a teacher of God needs to do is to accept the atonement for yourself. See, that's kind of a hard pill to swallow too. Well, what about everything else that's happening out in the world? No, the only thing you need to do is undo all the attack, all the judgment, all the things that cause you the loss of peace. Because it need not be. You can have peace. But where are you placing your salvation? So these last couple sections have just been really, really powerful. And, we're going from learning to teaching, back to learning. They're not really separate. The teacher and student are really the same. But what is the point of us learning that on one end, knowing heaven and knowing God and knowing love, and now being here in this 3D world? How do we bring those two things together? Right? So as you learn these things, the purpose of all the things in the world and all of our relationships is to give us an opportunity to practice and to embody and to become those teachings and those learnings. Right? So people that you are triggered by, that trigger itself, it's not just about knowing intellectually what forgiveness is. It's not even about the act of doing the forgiveness. It's to get to a point where you become forgiveness that the trigger doesn't even happen anymore. Right? So I'll just, a quick example, and we can use this and apply it to anything, to any degree of extreme that you can think of is, I used to get really triggered when people cut me off. I used to get really triggered when people drove or when people made turns without signaling, like those types of things. And I would get really pissed. I would actually start yelling and whatever in the car. I would even get to certain points where I want to like drive up next to someone and make sure they know that they messed up. Right? Just to project my own anger and my own judgment. That was like a version of me once upon a time. But as I became, in that moment, I embodied forgiveness when I let that whole thing go. Because it doesn't even, you want to see exactly. It's like, you want to see, like, what are we trying to prove? How stupid is that, right? But once we've embodied the fact that that doesn't trigger us anymore, right? I in the beginning, I was like, oh, it could be like a person that is, I don't know, she's pregnant, she got to get to the hospital, or someone that really has to go number 2, and they just got to go, and so I started making it funny, and then it became something that doesn't even bother me ever again. Like, I don't even see it. People in the car with me would get upset, and I don't even see it sometimes. Because I became forgiveness in that part. So how do we do that? How do we practice that? How do we embody all the things that life gives us the opportunity to practice the teachings of A Course in Miracles? They're crowning and they need the toilet. It's true. See, like that, once it becomes funny, there's no reason to be upset. If I do get upset, then there is something that inside me that is disturbed, right? And I am projecting it outwards because it could be anything. Literally, it could be anything, and we can get upset. Okay, so we're talking about learning to embodiment, which is, for A Course in Miracles, we're moving from seeking to finding. Okay, so am I still learning from fear? Is there, instead of like trying to find peace or find truth, can I just accept? I don't need to go out and find it. And so, the Sane Curriculum, today's session, is not something you have to master or do. It is something that you just remember. Because once you remember something, you recognize that you don't need to undo anything else, really. So the course is like, remember love, remember peace. So the Sane Curriculum that we're going to read today is not about something you have to master. Rather, it's something that you remember. And so I wrote a quote today in the emails for everyone, is that you do not need to be taught peace. You only need to unlearn everything that has convinced you that it wasn't yours already. So that's where we'll start today's call here, is the remembering that you just have to undo and find all the barriers that you have built against love. The only purpose that we are here learning A Course in Miracles is to recognize, where do we do that? Where are we still holding on to pain and to those things, Try to stop myself from being bothered, getting cut off when I notice. Yeah. And it's so, like, think about this. I mean, the road rage thing is just one area that I can clearly remember that, I once upon a time acted really insanely. Like, really insane. Like, I would scare my mom and my girlfriend at the time in the car of how insane I would get. I don't even know why. Like, that just, somehow I got something from that. I don't know what it is. But we can take that into other areas of our life, Go ahead, Fraser.
I remember a time when I used to do something kind of like that. It was a little more aggressive. I got in a lot of fights.
I did too.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, anyways, it's basically like, we have those moments, and then we have clarity, and we go, what the hell was I doing that for? What was the reason behind that?
Seriously.
It was the ego.
It's the ego. Yeah, so we can all find places where we are just insane, right? So if we can realize, oh my God, others are playing this insane game as well, then to heal is to see the sane game, right? It's to heal my mind. I see these insane things so that I can undo them in myself. Again, atonement is not for other people. You must accept the atonement for yourself, and that's it. The atonement is the undoing of all that you have taught yourself, all that you have had the ego teach you. Every time that you were upset, what barriers did you build against peace and love? So just to reiterate, the one teaching that the Holy Spirit is teaching us is that love is the only thing that is real, and you are part of it. You are always and will always be on Love Island, even though you think you might get booed off of it. Even if you're swimming against the current. So, to open up today with Marianne Williamson's quotes on day 35. It says it's for reflection on re-enchanting the world. Cool. Tell us, Marianne. We were all indoctrinated into a disenchanted world, and we've sacrificed a lot in order to live there. The world isn't better off for having forfeited its tenderness. The means and cynicism of our age, the reflexive sarcasm that passes for intelligent reflection, the suspicion and judgment of everyone and everything, such are the toxic byproducts of a disenchanted worldview. Many of us want off that wheel of suffering. We don't want to accept what is what has to be. We want to pierce the veil of illusion that separates us from a world of infinite possibility. We want another kind of life for ourselves and for the world. We are considering that there might be another way, a door to miraculous realms that is simply waiting for us to open it. So, re-enchanting the world. We must first want another lesson. We want another perspective. Right? The way that we've had it has caused us a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, and it need not be. But we have to recognize that we've been listening to the wrong teacher the whole time. Okay, who else? We want any shares here this morning as we open up? And I think it's also worth going back to chapter 12, section 3, when we read the investment in reality. This line has been with me for the last basically 2 weeks since we've read this, and I just, I feel like it lands so much for me and for, I don't know, just all things. Right, so it's in chapter 12, section 3, the investment in reality. So reality with a capital R. And so this could be, you can take this and think about it as what someone wants you to do, or someone is saying something that you don't agree with, or whatever it is. Anytime that you have opposition against something, just remember this. So suppose a brother insists, so you insert brother with whoever, insists on having you do something you think you do not want to do. Or they have a philosophy, or they have something that you just don't agree with. His very insistence should tell you that he believes salvation lies in it. If you insist on refusing and experience a quick response of opposition, you are believing that your salvation lies in not doing it. Then you are making the same mistake he is, and are making his error real to both of you. Insistence means investment, and what you invest in is always related to your notion of salvation. So this is just a really, just such a great line for any time that we judge or attack or we lose our peace. It's like we must insist that the opposite is what brings us peace, but neither of them does, right? Again, the ego doesn't care which one you choose as long as you choose a side, because the ego's game is about division and separation. So it's not about whether I know what's best or whether I know what's right or wrong. It's that I don't. It's removing the judgment itself. See, the Holy Spirit says you don't have the capability to actually make the sane judgment because you can't see it all. So to be a part of love is not to judge love and to control love or any of that. It's to just be it, to just become it. and let that guide you. But we're so busy caught up in, I'm seeking for my peace and love and whatever through, if only these things happen, if this happened or if that happened, if he says this or if he stops doing this or she, we can look just into our lives and anything that upsets us. We can look where we are seeking, and what we are seeking and what we have placed our salvation on. And it's never that, because as soon as somebody or something agrees, we find something else to find salvation in. And so we just keep running in that circle. Full acceptance. Full acceptance is what we're looking for, and what the Course is teaching us. You can't have one foot in the door. You can't have one foot, or we just put like one toe in the Holy Spirit's teaching and the other foot still like, but I want to hold on to all these other illusions. I can fix this and I can fix that. So rather than trying to fix everything, just letting things be. And just enjoy it. Be the witness. You can witness life instead of judging it. It's a good one. Witness life, guys. All right. Thoughts? Should we jump into the section? Anyone awake? Is there anyone out there?
I'm here, brother. I'm listening to you.
I'm awake, bro.
Okay, great.
I'm mostly awake.
You're in the East Coast. Oh, wait. Awake. There's many versions of awake, I guess. All right, well, glad that everyone is awake. Should we read then?
Read.
All right. All right, so we're jumping into the reading earlier than normal, which is great. I think it's I had intended for us to do this to hear the reading more and then allow more of the shares to come after. And it's funny because someone had asked, "Can we read first?" I'm like, "Okay," and I still take forever because my introduction to the section takes forever. All right, so we're moving from seeking and finding to the Sane Curriculum here today on chapter 12, section 5. As we read, again, invitation, just allow it to flow through you in an open, undisrupted, uninterrupted way. Right? The words, let the words just flow through. Not even the words, but the energy that is being transferred through these words and through my voice. Just let it flow through. You don't even need to understand it. There is a knowing that is beyond all understanding. You already know what I'm going to be reading is simply a reminder. So this is not new information, so you don't really need to try to digest it or judge it or figure it out. Just let it dissolve some barriers you have created around peace and love. All right, here we go. These words are arrows piercing the barriers that each one of us has built. Okay. So, what an opening. Only love is strong because it is undivided. The strong do not attack because they see no need to do so. Before the idea of attack can enter your mind, you must have perceived yourself as weak. Because you attacked yourself and believe that attack was effective, you behold yourself as weakened. No longer perceiving yourself and your brothers as equal and regarding yourself as weaker, you attempt to equalize, quote unquote, equalize the situation you made. You use attack to do so because you believe that attack was successful in weakening you. That is why the recognition of your own invulnerability is so important to the restoration of your sanity. So the recognition of you being the extension of love and God, of infinite possibility, remembering who you are, is all that we need to do to restore our sanity. For if you accept your invulnerability, you are recognizing that attack has no effect. Although you have attacked yourself, you will be demonstrating that nothing really happened. Therefore, by attacking, you have not done anything. Once you realize this, you will no longer see any sense in attack, for it manifestly does not work and cannot protect you. Yet the recognition of your invulnerability has more than negative value. If your attacks on yourself have failed to weaken you, you are still strong. You therefore have no need to quote unquote equalize the situation to establish your strength. You will never realize the utter uselessness of attack except by recognizing that your attack on yourself has no effect. For others do react to attack if they perceive it, and if you are trying to attack them, you will be unable to avoid interpreting this as reinforcement. The only place you can cancel out all reinforcement is in yourself, for you are always the first point of your attack, and if this has never been, it has no consequences. The Holy Spirit's love is your strength, for yours is divided and therefore not real. You cannot trust your own love when you attack it. You cannot learn of perfect love with a split mind, because a split mind has made itself a poor learner. You try to make the separation eternal because you wanted to retain the characteristics of creation, but with your own content. Yet creation is not of you, and poor learners do need special teaching. You have learning handicaps in a very literal sense. There are areas in your learning skills that are so impaired that you can progress only under constant, clear-cut direction provided by a teacher who can transcend your limited resources. He becomes your resource. Because of yourself, you cannot learn. The learning situation in which you placed yourself is impossible, and in this situation, you clearly require a special teacher and a special curriculum. Poor learners are not good choices as teachers, either for themselves or for anyone else. You would hardly turn to them to establish the curriculum by which they can escape from their limitations. If they understood what is beyond them, they would not be handicapped. You do not know the meaning of love, and that is your handicap. Ooh. Hello, Course Miracles. You do not know the meaning of love, and that is your handicap. I love how the Course sometimes just gets so straight with you. Do not attempt to teach yourself what you do not understand, and do not try to set up curriculum goals where yours have clearly failed. Your learning goal has been not to learn, and this cannot lead to successful learning. You cannot transfer what you have not learned, and the impairment of the ability to generalize is a crucial learning failure. Would you ask those who have failed to learn what learning aids are for? They do not know. If they could interpret the aids correctly, they would have learned from them. I have said that the ego's rule is seek and do not find. Translated into curricular terms, this means try to learn, but don't succeed. The result of this curriculum goal is obvious. Every legitimate teaching aid, every real instruction, and every sensible guide to learn will be misinterpreted, since they are all for facilitating the learning this strange curriculum is against. If you're trying to learn how not to learn, and the aim of your teaching is to defeat itself, what can you expect but confusion? Such a curriculum does not make sense. I love how the course is calling out our insane curriculum right now. We have such insane curriculums. We try to learn from pain and suffering, and we try to learn from attack and judging things. And really, we're not learning anything, because the ego's teaching curriculum is for you not to learn, for you to be confused. So if everything is facilitated and is built against this curriculum, then you are learning how not to learn, is what the course is saying right now. This attempt at learning has so weakened your mind that you cannot love, for the curriculum you have chosen is against love and amounts to a course of how to attack yourself. A supplementary goal in this curriculum is learning how not to overcome the split that makes its primary aim believable. And you will not overcome the split in this curriculum, for all your learning will be on his behalf. Yet your mind speaks against your learning as your learning speaks against your mind. And so you fight against all learning and succeed and succeed for that is what you want. But perhaps you do not realize even yet that there is something for you. There's something you want to learn, and that you can learn it because it is your choice to do so. You who have tried to learn what you do not want should take heart. For although the curriculum you set yourself is depressing indeed, it is merely ridiculous if you look at it. Is it possible that the way to achieve a goal is not to attain it? Resign now as your own teacher. Resign now as your own teacher. This resignation will not lead to depression. It is merely the result of an honest appraisal of what you have taught yourself and of the learning outcomes that have resulted. Under the proper learning conditions, what you can neither provide nor understand, you will become an excellent learner and an excellent teacher. But it is not so yet, and will not be so until the whole learning situation, as you have set it up, is reversed. Your learning potential, properly understood, is limitless because it will lead you to God. You can teach the way to him and learn it if you follow the teacher who knows the way to him and understands his curriculum for learning it. The curriculum is totally unambiguous because the goal is not divided and the means and the end are in complete accord. You need offer only undivided attention. Everything else will be given you, for you really want to learn aright, and nothing can oppose the decision of God's Son. His learning is as unlimited as he is. So, yeah, the course is calling us out on the insane curriculum that we have followed. We have taught ourselves. So today, what you think makes you happy, and there's a lesson number 5, you do not perceive your own best interests, right? Which is to say, resign as your own teacher of life curriculum, right? Resign as your own teacher. See, then we can ask, who is my teacher? Then we can even ask, who am I? Right? But as the ego doesn't want you to even get to that question, so it constantly gives you insane lessons. And then so you get upset at what the president is doing. You get upset at what corporations are doing. You get upset at what your parents, your kids, your spouse are doing or not doing. See, those are the distractions. Everything else is a distraction. If you are not learning that everything is part of God's plan and that you are also a part of it, that means no attack is necessary. No judgments are necessary. All of those things are just keeping you an arm's length away from peace and love. And you will determine what those things are. Right? I always think of it from the analogy of like God's love and light shines onto you, and you're like, let me decide where to put this thing. I am going to cast a shadow onto this thing. This thing does not get light. That thing gets light. I like that. That gets light. We'll give some light over here. And like what the doing of that is a waste of time and a distraction. See, the only way we do that is really like we turn our backs to the light and we focus on where we should be shining the light onto. The Course is like, that is an insane thing. Why don't you just turn to the light so you can recognize the light? So you can recognize love. Instead of turning your back to it and then trying to decide what it is yourself. See, the ego does everything to keep you from turning around. That's why everything is upside down. And to upright our perception, we just need to turn around and look to the light. And we've been our own teacher for too long. Thoughts?
I have thought.
Yeah, please.
Wow, this has been wow. I have to put that thought together. Hold on. When you were talking about right now, when you were talking about the lights shining on us, and we turn around and we decide with a flashlight where we're going to put the light. When all we have to do is just turn around into the light. And then I thought about, first of all, I love the flashlight analogy. But I thought of when someone passes, and you know all the stories about that, like someone that's passed and come back, been brought back to life, and how they basically experience everything, and they know everything about what was going on in their life. And that they couldn't see when they were alive. And I thought about that, that face the light kind of thing made me think of that. And I just thought, oh, okay. That's all I need to do is just like look at the whole entire thing with love. And it's so simple of a teaching, but wow, right now I got it. Hopefully that continues. Who knows how long it's going to continue, but I'm going to enjoy it right now. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Right, it's like, can we become the witness to the light versus trying to dictate where the light goes? That's the ego. The ego is trying to dictate where love should be. And just the fact that you try to dictate where love should go, you have attacked yourself. Because somehow you are not the witness, or you are not the light anymore. You become something else other than the infinite, other than infinity. Right? You have become something that is limited. You're no longer the light. You're now the direction or something of the light. And you have literally no idea what to even do with it. You're like, ooh, let me shine it there. Maybe my salvation is over there. Oh no, let me shine it over here. And so anything that is less than the light itself, you have limited yourself. That means you will be playing an insane curriculum. Because it makes no sense. Like, just imagine us just trying to constantly block the light out, right? The sun is shining all its rays onto everything. And we're like, wait, no, let me block this. Let me block this. And that's all we're doing. Then we just become this like shade thing versus can we just be the light? And so we just have to remove all the barriers that we have built against ourselves so we can just be, so light can just pass through us. And we're just a part of that ride. Helen.
Hi, thank you,
Hi.
Alex. I thought those last two paragraphs were so sweet and so gentle and encouraging, because the whole component of it was like, this is upside down, we learned backwards, we learned upside, the teacher's an idiot, blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden she says, and you can do it. I mean, that was just the best thing. It's so nice to know, because sometimes it gets helpless. Sometimes when we read this, it's like, oh, how are we ever going to get this all undone? And then she says, you can do it. I mean, it was so beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. And it does get like that, and then the answer is always the same. Resign as your own teacher.
Yeah.
You know? Give it over to the Holy Spirit. Why don't you just witness and be a part of this journey instead of trying to control it? All of our problems stem from that.
Amazing.
Yeah. But the answer is always, it's always so simple, and it leads us back to it. So that's why I say that every chapter is stands alone. It's always reminding us just that, the same thing. You are insane. And to not be insane is to stop teaching the insane curriculum to yourself and to others, right?
And what that involves, I mean, that's not an easy task. You know, it involves a lot of introspective work. It just involves, getting rid of a lot of stuff that doesn't work for us any longer. A lot of, anger, and so it's not an easy task.
It's a simple task.
Again, you can do it.
Yeah. It's a simple task. It's not easy because our mind goes into, all the things I have to unpackage. The course is like, well, you don't really need to unpackage anything. Just take the entire storage unit of all this junk and just chuck it. Right? Like, you don't need to go through the storage unit and take pieces out one at a time. Just take the whole thing and just be like, here you go, Holy Spirit. I don't need any of this. This is all part of my insane curriculum. And I have placed all of my altars in here of God, which they aren't. So take the whole thing. You decide what to do with it. Oh my God, I feel so great. Have you guys ever, who's owned a storage before? Who's had a storage unit? Anybody have or has one or have had one? Oh, interesting. No wonder why the storage unit, our storage units our vacancies are going up. Well, I had one for like 10 years. 10 years in New Jersey. I moved to Florida, then I moved to Peru, then I moved to Vegas, and I still had a storage unit in New Jersey. Like, why? I paid, that's $100, $125 a month. That's $1,200 a year for 10 years. I spent $12,000 storing something that literally I don't even know what's in it. And then I decided I got to go back. So I bought a flight, went back to New Jersey. I don't even know what I was going to do with all this stuff. Right? I was going to go in there, go through it, take out some stuff. I think I left with like a tiny little box of like pictures. And I had all this other stuff. I'm like, wow. I could have just taken this whole storage unit and chucked it. I wouldn't even care. Right? So it's not hard. It's not easy, like you said. But we've been teaching the wrong curriculum the whole time. So to surrender yourself as the teacher is just to say all this stuff, right? I don't need to unpackage every single thing one at a time. You could. So the course says you could do all that and create more. All you're doing is going to delay. There is nothing you can actually do because you are a part of love. You've only forgotten. So you can take your time and go through your entire storage, right? All the files in your head and all the habits and all that stuff, or just right now choose from this moment forth, I will only learn from the Holy Spirit. And what that means is I can't make a judgment for myself. I can only witness things. I just witness. Anything that is playing out, I'm just witnessing it. So it's simple, but yes, not easy. And this is why it's a constant practice. This is why we spend an hour and a half twice a week on this, right? Because it's, even if we don't particularly understand everything today, the compounding effect of all of us being on these calls over a period of time, the lessons and the things will resonate, and you will choose just a little bit different in the next time that something's going to trigger you. Like, oh, I can choose something else. And as you choose something else, you become it. You start to embody these teachings. And so learning becomes unnecessary in that period when you become it. Right? So this is the path to mastery. Mastery is not to learn more things. Mastery is to become it so much so that it becomes effortless. Like, it's effortless not to judge. Because we intentionally put this time here to remember. You know, and the course is just giving us 1,000 different ways to do that. Right? Cool. Awesome. Anyone else? Jill, did you have your hand up? I thought I just saw your hand. No? Okay. All right. Anyone else? Forgiveness works miracles. In any moment, I choose where to put my focus. I can focus on someone's guilt, or I can focus on someone's innocence. By seeing someone's innocence, I transcend the effects that their guilt might have had on me. I am only at the effect of what I accord reality. By forgiving, I accord reality to love, and therefore only love can touch me. Through forgiveness, I let go of fear to work a miracle instead. The power of forgiveness is a miracle of God, a shift in perception from world to spirit, from past to present, and from fear to love. It is God's greatest gift to me and my greatest power. My willingness to forgive is my refuge, my security, and my strength. Forgiveness works miracles. What else? Any challenges, any celebrations, any shares that you guys want to add to the space? Okay then. Hi, Carolyn.
Hi. I just want to add, years ago, I had a great need to forgive. And I did. It was a huge, huge issue. I mean, this person really violated my trust in him, and and I lost a lot. And it just, forgiveness opens up a space for us to move on. It's very, and it opens up a space for us to fill with great, great things, with growth opportunities. So yeah. I'm not adding really much to what you said. I'm just commenting.
No, it's great. Thank you for
Very
sharing that.
important, and it's made a huge difference in my life to be able to forgive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is, these things happen. I remember there's a a story of two souls coming back to Earth, and one soul says, I want to learn about love. I want someone to remind me of what love is. Right. And the other soul says, you're not going to remember this, but when we're down there together, I will do something to you that you will have to call upon love. You'll have to call upon forgiveness. And this is my contract with you. I will teach this to you. When you are back in this 3D world. And so what do we really know is happening? Right? Like, we don't really know what's happening at all. And so it is really challenging for us to suspend all this control and all the world that we have created, everything we've taught ourselves about the world. Right? And that's challenging, but again, I think today's like theme is, can we just witness all the things that are going on and just do it with a smile, and with curiosity of like, oh, that's really interesting. Right? Can we look at everything from a place of like full abundance? Nothing can really take away or add to you. So if that's the lesson you want to learn today, if nothing can add to me and nothing can take away from me because I am already so whole, if you want to remember yourself, then I forgot what I said, but yeah, if you want to remember yourself, then let's play that game here today. Let's be a witness to the world. And let's be curious. Nicole, remind me what I just said.
You said that that's the promise, is that he will remind us, forgiveness, and remind us, create situations where we remember that, and that's his commitment to us, is to create that, which completely puts it in a different context, as in the actual event means nothing, right?
Yeah.
It's just the memory of that feeling. I don't even know how to say it. It was so beautiful, Alex. If you record this thing, you gotta go back and watch it. Send it to me. It was like so perfect. It just
okay.
Okay,
at 10:03.
Very powerful.
Okay, thank you. I will go back to it. 10:03. It's recorded on my Facebook and on YouTube, so I can go back to it and check it out.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Thanks. I did feel like I was speaking into something, but I just totally forgot what I said. Okay, Janice, go ahead.
Actually, you said, because it really got to me too, it gave me the chills. You gave a little story about two souls before they were born.
Oh, right, yeah.
And that one of them wanted to come here to learn love. And the other one said to them, you're not going to remember this, but I'm going to do something to you down there that's going to require you to call upon love. And when you said
ooh, chills also.
Yes, that's what thank you, Janice.
It chilled right through me, because I guess, probably it's happened to all of us, I mean, I know it's happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so interesting. And at the same time, I always think that too. It's always in the back of my mind. I have a contract with them. This happened. This was an agreement before we came here. And But to hear you say that, it just really went right into me again.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, remember this. It's so important because it's not enough to just know it. Like you could learn things, you could read, you could um, watch videos, podcasts, whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't internalize it, it's not gonna. What's it gonna do?
Yeah.
It's gonna go here and there.
Yeah, that's the whole seeking, right? We're just seeking a whole bunch of information and not really getting to implement it. And it's just for us to remember that. I think at the end of the day, it's to remember who we really are. I think I just said this before too. To remember who we really are is to remember that nothing can add to me and nothing can take away from me. And how rare and beautiful, and we can be in awe of life when we just witness, right? All the soul contracts, us being here at the same time talking about A Course in Miracles and remembering who we are. This is it's a miracle, right? We can really find the reverence and find and be in awe of life, of everyone that comes into your space, people that have conversations with you, people that care about you and love you, people that attack you and shit on you. Like, how amazing all of that could be happening. And I think about that all the time. Every time I do a Zoom and a webinar, I come into this place of just immense gratitude. And same thing with the live events. Like when I'm doing any meetups or during my live event, I mean, it means it's so much energy drawn from me to put something like that together. Myself and my team, and we're accomplishing something. And I just like, when I was acknowledging them the other day, I was like so emotional. Right. And this is why I think like the live events are just a little bit more beyond the Zooms. The Zooms were just like, where we can be present and we can fall out of presence. When we're like live in the room, our energies are together in a room. And so, bringing A Course in Miracles into the real estate world, into the entrepreneurial world is so like, it's just who I am. Because I've integrated, or I'm working on integrating all of that myself also. Just like trusting, right? I gave an example on the last call. Like on the day of the last ACIM call, I think it was, what's today? Today's Wednesday. No, today's Sunday. On Wednesday, we closed on a refinance, and I was so stressed for so long. Like, for what? This, whatever is, has always been and always will be. And you will learn, or you will be taken care of. And, can you just be grateful for it all? And I think that's the calling of these calls, and my message I want to get across to everyone is, can we just be so grateful and so in awe of life and the people that are around us, that if somebody triggers us, that I actually feel immense gratitude for that happening. Right? Like, what a beautiful, miraculous life that we live. So much love and so much to just be, that we can be a witness to, and find so much joy and gratitude for the people that are in our lives. Yeah, go ahead, Fraser.
Speaking of rooms, see you in Florida soon.
Yeah.
Count the days.
Count the days. Janice, I love it. Yeah, we'll be in Florida. I'm flying on Tuesday. We'll be there Tuesday, Wednesday. We have some time. Well, maybe I have time to spend with some people, but we'll be setting up, and then our event starts Thursday. So it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, I have two really great, like, life partners, Gerald and Maya Rose. They are, we're doing the event together, and I'm just so excited to come together in a space to create something again. And they bring 300 plus live event experience, right? That's what they bring to the table. And I'm just starting to do live events. So being able to, we're working together on how to integrate their breakthrough into our, real estate teachings and all of that. And bring A Course in Miracles to it. It's been amazing.
Alice, can you tell me where the event is going to be?
It'll be in Palm Beach Gardens at the Best Western over there, Thursday to Saturday.
Okay.
And they are full day events, like 9 a.m. to like 9 or 10 p.m. So there's a lot. We have a really cool hypnosis show that's going to be there on the second day. And it is pretty important to hold a container. Like, whoever wants to come, like, it's just try to be there for the entire thing. Because each lesson and each exercise that we do is intentionally followed up by the one after. We've built a really cool arc, a really cool journey. Go ahead, Carolyn.
This is not why I put my hand up, but since Fraser brought it up, I wanted to be at that event. I want to meet you all in person. And I was going to be in Florida, and I would have driven 4 hours to get there, but I'm in New York, and I had to be here, so I hope you're going to do it again in Florida, maybe, or I don't expect you to be in New York, so or Las Vegas. Did you have it last year in Florida?
No, this is the first one.
Oh, are you going to do it again?
Yes, we will do one more this year.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. I just had my hand up because before you were speaking about being, not being judgmental and just being accepting. And I was reminded of a children's story that Heather Forrest tells. It's about two neighbors, and neighbor one says to neighbor two, this horrible thing that happened. But he just describes it though. He doesn't attach any meaning to it. And the neighbor two says, "Oh, that's horrible." And then it turns out something really good came out of it. So neighbor said, "Oh, that's wonderful." And they go back and forth for a lot of, which is a wonderful lesson for children to learn, because we cannot judge. We don't know how it's going to turn out. We don't know if it's another door opening for an opportunity. So it's just interesting.
It's a great story. I think the story goes like, so it's a farmer. This farmer, he has him and his neighbor, the conversation. So one day the farmer's horse runs away, and the neighbor comes and goes, "Oh my God, how unfortunate that your horse that it helps you provide for your living and do all the things, ran away." And he's like, "Yeah, maybe, perhaps." And then the neighbor leaves, and the next day the horse comes back with a whole like group of horses, and now he's got more horses. And then the neighbor comes and goes, "Oh my God, how amazing, how awesome, like what a blessing it is." And he's like, "Yeah, perhaps, maybe, And then the next day, his son is trying to tame the horse or whatever, and falls off the horse and breaks his arm or breaks his leg. And the neighbor comes and goes, "Oh my God, your son, the only person that's here to help you, handle all the stuff. Now he's hurt. What are you going to do?" And that's so unfortunate. And he's like, "Yeah, maybe, perhaps." And then like the next day, the army rolls through and recruiting all the young men to the military, like taking everybody. And, but they couldn't take his son because his son had fell off the horse, broken arm, broken leg. And they're like, "Okay, well, we don't need this person." So the neighbor comes and goes, "Oh my God, how fortunate that your son fell off, that your horse ran away, came back with all these horses, and then your son fell off of them, and then the army comes through. How fortunate." He's like, "Yeah, perhaps." All right, so the story just goes on and on and on. So it's just basically a great lesson for us. Like, we don't even know what the heck's going on, right? Just like have faith and trust. So, that's why I'm writing my book, "Had You Have Faith, You Wouldn't Need a Miracle." It's just such a literally such a great reminder for all of us. And perhaps I'll open up that book with that story too. I gotta actually find what the story is. I'm just like butchering it. Go ahead, Fraser.
Like that story, that's really cool. The other thing is too is like, you know, when we're seeking something, we don't tend to find it, and when we stop seeking it, we'll tend to disappear in our lives because it's not for us to decide when it comes in.
I know. I got this lesson really.
It's been happening lately. I'm just like, what?
I got this lesson. I have this really expensive shaver, and somehow in our move I can't find it, and I'm just like, you know, if it's meant to be, it'll come back to me. And then I lose my peace around it. And I'm like, where could I have put it? Really, I could just go buy another one, but I'm very stubborn for some reason. We should all write our own stories of the perhaps / maybes. Right? Like things that have happened in our life. Like, oh my God, that's terrible. And we're like, and then our witness self goes, yeah, maybe. And then something good happens from like, oh man, thank God that thing happened so that this can happen. And then our witness self goes, yeah, maybe. And then we just go on and on. We should actually create that. That's a great exercise. Good job, Caroline. Thank you. That's great. Great idea. Let me write this down on one of my 1 million sticky notes in front of me.
While you're doing that, I got another question.
Yeah, please.
Are you going to be doing the Course in Miracles on the Wednesday and the Sunday next week?
I will probably do Wednesday. Yeah, I don't see why not. Except I'll be in the East Coast, so the time is like super late. Yeah, maybe. I have 4 storage units after sale of my house. Yeah, Kathy. I mean, it's just like we just hold on to so much of this like stuff. Like I don't know why we hold on to things, but yeah. It's the same as the stories and the things that we hold on to. Huh. Great ending to our call here today. Really awesome. Also, remember my friend Samsara who did the Vedic reading and the thing that we shared? She left me this book, The Little Prince.
I have 2 copies of that book.
Really?
From a long time ago. Yeah.
It's a cool looking
I
book.
had my Vedic reading done by her.
You did? How was it?
Really good. Actually, you and I have a lot of similarities. I'll share it with you when we're down there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, my friend Tasnova, who's usually on the call, she just did it yesterday with her as well. All right. Well, I'm excited to see whoever is coming down to Florida. And, you know, I always see the live events that I do as a gathering of the tribes. Because people from all walks of life in my life comes and joins in that one place. You know, so those of you guys that are just here on the ACIM calls get a chance. And even on these ACIM calls, there's a lot of people from different communities and tribes that I'm a part of are here. So, you know, very grateful for it all and excited to be in the same room as everyone. You know, and I'm opening each day with A Course in Miracles. So that'll be exciting.
Alice, could I have the name of the event? I'm going to pass the information along to my niece who lives down in Manalapan. I think she'd be interested.
So legendsbreakthrough.com.
Alright,
If you guys oh wait, hold on, why did it separate?
Thank you, Alex.
Okay, use the code Alex, and it'll just be comped.
Okay.
All right. Well, now that you guys know, use the code Alex. Shh, don't tell anyone. We are going to be a pretty full event, so
How full is it right now?
we're probably like 6 people shy away from the max.
Wow.
So, and then there are people that said they're coming and that aren't signed up. So I'm like, I don't know. So we'll just see. I'm sure the room can fit more people, but we have like a number that we want to be at, you know, just for most impact. Like we don't actually want it to be like 100 something people. All right. That's it. That's all, folks. We are early. But yeah. Be a witness today to your own life. Be in awe of all the miracles that are literally happening around you every single moment. And remember that you are love. All right. Happy 17th birthday to your daughter. Yay.
Thanks, babe.
All right, everyone. That's it. That's all, folks. All right. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.